Hey brats, welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to talk about Quest 2 tracking and the top 3 ways that you can improve your tracking and make it work out better for you. I know there's been a lot of people saying on Reddit and stuff, they're having some struggles, they're having some issues, and it's giving them trouble. So we're going to go from probably the best way to some of the less significant ways to start this out, so that if you find that first tip is really helpful for you, you don't have to continue on unless you want to see what the other tips are. So let's get into it. Tip number 1, increase tracking frequency. Now, if anyone out there does not know, Quest 2 controllers are actually tracked through light tracking, but it is infrared light. That is why if you look at them, you don't see the lights running on the controllers. You only would see these using an infrared camera. These lights are actually flashing, and that is how they are tracked. That saves on some of the battery power, not having to constantly power them, and then it can help identify which controller is which. That's how it doesn't get your left and right controller mixed up, even though they have basically the same pattern. Now you can see here, if we slow footage down, these flash at 2 different rates, and it's set in your app to auto.
So go into your phone, go to your Oculus app, go to settings, make sure that your Oculus Quest 2 is currently turned on, connect it, drop down this menu, go to more settings, go to advanced settings, go to tracking frequency. Now by default, this is going to be set to auto. You want to set this to 60 Hertz all the time.
Tip number 2, use only 1.5 volt or greater batteries. Now, something that a lot of people don't know about most rechargeable batteries that you buy for your controllers, the store-bought batteries like Energizers, Duracells, ones that you usually just buy at the front, buy a register on your way out of the store, those are typically 1.2 volt rated batteries. These are not strong enough to power the 1.5 volt controllers adequately. You can see here in the user manual, the controllers are rated at 1.5 volts and the included batteries are 1.5 volts. I still have the set of included batteries here that you can see and see that they are for sure 1.5 volts. So this is where a lot of people get frustrated after having their Quest or their Quest 2 or even their Rift S for a while. They start to say, oh, I feel like my tracking isn't as good as it used to be. Well, typically they switch from those 1.5 volt batteries to 1.2 volts, not even realizing there's a difference. Now, I am not an electrician, so I won't go too heavy into this at all. But basically, voltage is the pressure from an electrical circuit that it's taking to route the electricity through a loop that is running all the way through your controller and back, that is then power is being siphoned from that loop to wherever it needs to go. Now, being a 1.5 volt, it needs 1.5 volts of pressure to keep a constant loop running all the way around. So if you were to replace that with a 1.2 volt battery, then you're going to have gaps. It's going to drop off and trying to run this loop, and you're going to be risking your tracking. I would recommend getting these with a charger, because most of the chargers you have probably won't be able to power 1.5 volt batteries. I'll leave a link to those batteries in the description in case you want to get yourself a good set of rechargeables, or if you're going to continue to use disposable batteries, make sure that they're at least 1.5 volts, just like the included batteries were. Tip number 3, lighting and environment. Now, your lighting in your environment plays more of a role than most people think with inside-out tracking. If you think it's not true, just try going in a dim lighting or try going in way too bright of an area. Besides putting a risk to your actual headset lenses through sunlight by going outside, the actual main reason you're not really able to take your Quest 2 outside and use it is because if there's too much sunlight and white, bright clouds around you, you actually won't be able to track anything. It's too bright. It can't track the controllers. It'll lose its tracking. I know, I've tried this. I lost tracking. I had to go to like a shady, bushy area to actually use my Quest outside. The other half of that is inside. Oculus inside out tracking is actually used to monitor points around your room. So it looks for points of high contrast where there's like a painting on the white wall. You have the white wall and you have this painting. It sees those points of that painting and uses that to measure how far your head is turned and where you're moving in the tracking. So for those of you who love that you have a spare room in your house that's just your VR room, you go play your Quest in there, but it's all white walls, there's nothing on the walls, there's one light in the room, it's going to struggle to actually track. Now, it's important to have good, even lighting all around you. I played my Quest 2 a lot in my garage at first because it just had so much space, but the problem was when I would turn away from where the only 2 lights were in the room, I would start to have tracking issues with my controller because I was looking at the dark door and the darker area of the garage was not having the lighting I needed to track. So this has been something long known, especially in the Windows mixed reality community. They talk about how you'll see posts on Reddit about how put a really crazy painting on your wall or something that it can really track when you're trying to play, especially because they use light tracking on their controllers and not infrared. Lighting and environment makes a big difference, but it will also with your Quest 2. You want to make sure that you have a good open area that's lit all around you, and then it has many points throughout the room to track so that it's not losing tracking. So I hope these tracking tips helped you. Let me know in the comments if you are having any issues with tracking, anything that this helped you out, anything that maybe more tips that you knew of that I didn't. One thing I will say that there isn't a solution for those of you out there yet, some people are having the controllers just run off on them randomly and they haven't been able to fix that. Some people are saying a hard reset of the headset might help. Switching out the batteries to 1.5 volts are definitely an important one there. But if you're really having bad problems, contact Oculus support, because it could be that you have a faulty controller and there's just nothing you're going to be able to do to fix that controller. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in another reality. I want to say the biggest thank you to our now 8 patrons: K27, Rocket Sauce 28, Fred Nepotevo, Ege Karatosh, K Panda K, Maddie's, Gallium VR, and Orange VR. Thank you so much, everybody.